Hello and welcome to the Football Diary podcast and this mini-series where I'll be previewing some of the biggest teams in Serie A ahead of the kick-off of their league campaign this weekend. My name is Miles, your host, and in this episode I'll be looking at Juventus. Now while you're with me, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel for much more content on the season ahead coming soon as well, it'd be wonderful to have your support. Now starting with Juventus, the old lady really seemed to be the sleeping giant in Italy right now, who may have fallen off over the last couple of seasons, but will be looking to use this season outside of Europe to rebuild some domestic success. However, they have been hampered once again by a summer of off-the-field activity that leaves a lot of questions. That seems to be Juventus' big problem right now. If we look at last season, for example, they started the season very poorly, but did pick up some really good form in the second half of the season. But their points deduction really threw their season out the window for them. And now this European ban has further added insult to injury as well. Now, looking at their transfer activity for the summer, it's been really limited because they've kind of been hampered by deals agreed in advance. Moises Ken came in for €30 million in a permanent transfer, as well as Manuel Locatelli. So that kind of limited what they could do this summer. And instead, the market that Juventus have been competing in is very different to the one we're used to seeing them around. This is a club that not long ago signed Cristiano Ronaldo and Matthijs de Ligt, and now instead the biggest signing they've managed to achieve this summer is Timothy Weah. Now that's no shade on Timothy Weah, a very promising young forward, but it's a big step up for him to be expected to lead the line for Juventus, as they've struggled to do much else, and there's been uncertainty around the future of some really key players. Vlahovic has never really lived up to the potential that we thought he might have at Juventus, and it seems quite sure that Allegri is keen to move him on. Federico Chiesa has been the subject of interest from clubs in England, including Aston Villa and Newcastle, and nothing seems to have materialised with that. But it's odd that a player that clearly is one of the standout performers in Juventus' squad would be so readily available for a move. And of course, last summer they brought in Paul Pogba, and we never really saw the best of him after being limited to injuries. Not only that, but they've lost some key senior figures from the side. They've decided to kick out Leonardo Bonucci in quite unsavoury fashion, if all reports are to be believed. Juan Cuadrado has moved on a free transfer to a rival, no less, and Di Maria has moved back to Benfica. So this squad really isn't one that looks like is ready to compete for a title, despite its easier season with no European football. There were questions over Allegri's future a lot through last season, and I think that will continue this season if they can't cement themselves in the league early. The pursuit of Romelu Lukaku has been a very odd one. They are clearly trying to strike up some sort of swap deal with Chelsea, who don't seem that interested in Vlahovic. So I wonder for Juventus what their overall aim is for the season. Of course, they'll want to get back into Europe, but can I see them being ready to compete for the league title again? Probably not, no. The squad is ultimately weaker than it looked like it was going to be last season, and I'm really worried by the lack of preparation, and there's still uncertainty around a lot of their squad that goes into this season as we start. Allegri has proven himself at the top level in Italy, but I do wonder if this Juventus job is a step too far for him at the moment.